What if everything the modern wellness industry is selling you right now, the supplements, the powders, the expensive detox systems, was never new to begin with? What if the answers were already written down thousands of years ago, and we just stopped paying attention? Because here is the part nobody says out loud. The foods described in biblical scripture were never just symbolic. They were functional, they were observed, tested, refined, across generations. And now, modern science is quietly confirming something that should make you stop and think. Ancient people understood the human body far better than we give them credit for. Today, we are going to walk through 10 of those foods, not from a religious angle, but from a biological one. By the time we reach the end, you are going to look at your grocery store very differently. Stay with me, because what shows up at number 1 is not just a food. It is one of the most studied substances in modern nutrition, and it has been used like medicine for over 2,000 years. Let's start with something simple. Number 10, dates. At first glance, they look like nothing special. Small, wrinkled, almost forgettable. But in the ancient world, this was survival. Think about desert travel. No refrigeration. No supply chains. No convenience stores. Just heat, distance, and physical demand. And what did people carry? Dates. Because they solved 3 problems at once: energy, storage, and stability. They are packed with natural sugars that the body can absorb quickly. But unlike refined sugar, they come bundled with fiber, which slows everything down. No spike, no crash, just steady fuel. But here is where it gets interesting. Modern studies are now showing that dates do something unexpected. Especially in pregnancy. Women who consumed dates regularly had shorter labor times, better outcomes, more efficient progression. This wasn't discovered recently. Ancient midwives already knew it. They didn't need clinical trials. They had observation, and that pattern repeats across everything we're about to cover. Number 9. Pistachios. There is a moment in ancient text that most people completely overlook. A famine, a desperate situation, a family negotiating survival. And when they send a gift to gain favor, they don't send gold. They send pistachios. Think about that. In a moment of scarcity. This was considered high value, and science explains why. Pistachios are loaded with compounds that protect the eyes and support blood pressure. And here's the part most people miss. They directly improve gut bacteria. Not slightly, significantly. Meaning, long before anyone understood the microbiome, people were already feeding it intentionally. That is not accidental knowledge. That is learned behavior. Number 8. Barley. Not glamorous, not trendy, but possibly one of the most powerful grains ever studied. Barley contains something called beta-glucan, and this single compound does multiple things at once. It stabilizes blood sugar, reduces cholesterol, feeds gut bacteria, and supports immune response. All from one source. Modern comparisons show something surprising. Barley often outperforms oats, which are considered one of the healthiest grains today, and yet barley was the food of ordinary people. Which raises a question: were they actually eating better than we are? Number 7. Pomegranate. This is where things start to escalate, because pomegranates contain compounds that don't exist in most other foods, and when your body processes them, they transform into molecules that protect your cells at a deep level. We're talking about reduced inflammation, improved blood flow, protection against oxidative damage. But here's what makes this remarkable. The rind, the part most people throw away, contains even higher concentrations of these compounds, which means ancient use wasn't wasteful. It was comprehensive. They used everything. Number 6. Garlic. And this is where the emotional side of the story appears. There is a moment where people literally weep because they no longer have access to garlic. Not luxury, not wealth. Garlic, because when garlic is crushed, it creates a compound that is one of the most powerful natural antimicrobials ever studied. It fights bacteria, viruses, fungi simultaneously. Modern research confirms it reduces illness frequency, supports heart health, and improves circulation. But there is one detail that changes everything. Heat destroys its most powerful compound, which means raw garlic was the real medicine. Number 5. Figs. This one reads like a story, until you understand the science behind it. A severe wound, a direct application of figs, and recovery. Now we know why. Figs contain enzymes that break down damaged tissue and compounds that fight infection, meaning what looked like a simple act was actually targeted treatment, and internally they are just as powerful, loaded with fiber, minerals, and compounds that support gut health. Number 4. Onions. This is where ancient intelligence becomes undeniable. Onions weren't just eaten, they were used as payment. That's how valuable they were. And now we know they are one of the richest sources of compounds that reduce inflammation, support immunity, and feed beneficial gut bacteria. Without knowing the word microbiome, they were actively building one daily. Number 3. Raw honey. This is not the honey most people buy today. Raw honey is alive. It produces natural antibacterial compounds, creates an environment where pathogens cannot survive, and has been used in medical settings even now. Actual hospitals use it, but once it's processed, most of that power is gone. What remains is sweetness, without the function. Number 2. Almonds. Extremely dense, extremely efficient. They deliver healthy fats, vitamin E, and magnesium. And clinical studies show they improve heart health, blood sugar, and even weight regulation. They are simple, but they are precise. And finally, number 1. Olive oil. This is where everything comes together. Because olive oil is not just food, it's a system. It reduces inflammation, protects the heart, supports brain function, and has been studied more than almost any other natural substance. But only in its real form, cold-pressed, unprocessed, because once you alter it, you lose what made it powerful. None of this required laboratories, no advanced equipment, no modern technology, just observation, consistency, and attention. People watched what worked and built their lives around it. And now, we're rediscovering it, piece by piece. So here is the real question. Not what you should add, but what you should replace. Pick just 2 of these foods. Use them consistently. And pay attention, because that's what they did, and it worked. And once you start noticing the difference, you'll understand something most people never do. Health was never complicated. We just made it that way.